Hello everyone, Katerina here. Thank you so much for watching this video today. After lovely holidays that we had, we are back in Ireland now and I'm back to recording some lovely tutorials. So the first one up is a gorgeous thank you card. I have to make 2 thank you cards and I wanted to make them real nice and special. I will be hand delivering this, so I don't mind all the dimension on it at all, but you can just see how easily you would be able to adapt this to some stamped and colored in images or ephemera you could use on this if you don't like a dimensional flower design. This card measures 5 by 7 inches and it is a side folding one, so this way. Now I never made a 5 by 7 inch card, I don't think, that opens up this way, so I think it's just lovely to have another way to use these cards. Originally I wanted this to be a top folding one, but as I was working around the design and all, I realized that it fits much better if I just turn it on its side. So I came up with this and I think it's beautiful. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. I will walk you through what I used to make my card. The one that we will be making today will be exactly the same design, only in different color combinations. So as I mentioned, the card base is a 5 by 7 top folding card base, which I didn't have in my stash, so I created my own and it's just so easy to do. I used heavyweight 300 GSM cardstock, one piece that measured 5 inches by 7 inches and another piece that measured 5 inches by 7.5 inches. And on the longer side I scored down at 7 inches. It left me with that little tab in there. That 1/2 inch tab I used to attach my back panel onto the card. The supplies, most of the supplies that I use today are from the latest box kit from Chloe's Creative Cards. But as I said, you can use anything that you have in your stash. This is just what I really enjoy using lately. These little daisies are just gorgeous. So the daisy dies that I used, and this set of 3, which are amazing. You can layer these up multiple ways. It shows you on the back in there. And I've made recently a beautiful card using these flowers. I will link to it in the description box below if you would like to check it out for a different color inspiration and a card inspiration, of course. Okay, so for the papers that I used, there's 2 pattern papers in it. They are both from the box kit, and they were included in the magazine that came with the box kit. Okay, so for the turquoise one, this card in here, I used this watercolor wash kind of a background and also this gorgeous greenish tailish daisy design. I think it's lovely. So this one is the one that I used on the background in there, and this one in here is laid just behind this gorgeous die cut in there. For today's card I will be using the pink papers, this gorgeous watercolor design and the pink, like almost like distressed or water wash kind of a design. I think it is absolutely stunning. So for this gorgeous design in here, I used a die cut plate, which is the Cube Trellis die set from Card Making Magic, and it comes in a set of 2. One of them that cuts the lovely design into the cardstock, and this one that creates the frame around it. So once I run these 2 through my die cutting machine, I am left with this gorgeous white piece of cardstock in here, and this is again a heavyweight 300 GSM cardstock I used. Now, I wanted to create a little bit of a frame around it though, so what I did, I took the frame rectangle from this die set, and one of the dies from the Surprise Creation die set that I've used so many times before, and this is such a lovely rectangle design with the stitch detail and the corners in there, so this fits perfectly inside of this one. and I taped them together with low-tack tape and ran through my die cutting machine using white cardstock again, and I was left with this stunning frame with the stitch detail on it. Now what I did, I've cut this out 3 times and layered them up all together. Anything that was left in the middle is a perfectly healthy, good cardstock to be used on any card. So I will be putting these away in my stash, and I will come back to use them in some future makes, so it's not going to waste. So this will be layered on top of this one here, and because I used exactly the same die to cut out the outside edge for both of these, they are exactly the same size, so they will layer up just perfectly on top of each other. So the measurements of this frame are 4 3/8 by 6 3/8. So this is exactly the measurements that I cut my pink paper to. It will layer up perfectly behind this frame. And I took a piece of holographic cardstock that I cut to 4.5 by 6.5. Once I layer these up on top of each other, it will leave me with that really thin 1/16 of an inch of a border on all 4 sides. Okay, so I bring my card base back in here, and I have another piece of holographic cardstock that measures 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, and on top of that I will be layering this gorgeous paper from the kit that I showed before, and this one measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, leaving that lovely thin border on all 4 sides in there. These first 2 layers I will be just gluing this straight onto the cardstock with no dimensionals at all, just using liquid glue. And now I'm going to be adding foam tape to the back of this one in here. And I will try to center this now as much as I can. Now to create my flowers, I used the gorgeous paper pad from Chloe's, and this is the Pastel Sorbet collection, and this is so stunning. So for these flowers on this card, I used these gorgeous tealy colored ones, and on one side they are lighter, on the other one they are darker. And what I did to every flower, because every flower has 3 layers, as I showed before, you can layer them up any way that you want, and that's what I did. They are layered all differently in here. So for the base layer on the bottom, I used the darker side of the paper, and for the top 2 layers I used this lighter side. So for the pink ones today, I am using these papers. Again, lovely and light pink on one side and much darker shade on the other side. So I have already prepared my flowers, but I will show you how I made these, okay? So I've cut them out. I have a spare one in here. I lost 1 layer, but basically these are the 3 layers glued on top of each other. What I did, I went around all the petals, added some dry clear glue, I wrap them all around those petals to make sure they are nice and covered as much as they can be. And I dip them into this lovely crystalline glitter. Now once the glue dries, this will be lovely and translucent. It looks white and pretty much lost the color in there, but once that dries, it will dry completely translucent, and all you will be left is that gorgeous sparkle like on those bottom ones in there. You see how stunning it is, and then the lighter layers on the top as well. So once these were done, I layered the three on top of each other, just adding a little bit of a glue onto the middle of the flower. And also to get them lovely and gorgeously bright and yellow in the middle, I've cut out this one here with the full middle, because some of them have little holes on them, some of its parts missing. I've cut it out of white cardstock. I cut off the petals. Again, added my quick grab dry clear glue on this, and sprinkled some of the peach Melba glitter, Sparklicious glitter on them to get them nice and yellow like that. Now this is obviously optional, you can go directly on that there, but because these are translucent, it will not be as bright yellow as it is on a white cardstock. I only realized that because I made a card before where I used two different shades, two different colors for these flowers, and the yellow bits, although I used the same glitter, they did turn out to be a little bit different, which is not a problem obviously, but for this one I was going to go with that lovely and bright color. This is how I fancied making this card today. I cut out a lot of foliage, again from the same pastel sorbet paper pad, so using this lovely green in here, and again it's darker on the other side, but for the foliage in here I will be using the lighter side. And the dies that I used to cut this out with are from the Beautiful Bouquet collection, and it is this foliage in here, but again whatever foliage you have in your stash you can use. So I used the two large gorgeous foliage leaves in here. So another thing is sentiment that I have prepared, and to stamp this I used the stamp from the Beautiful Bouquet Blossom stamp and die set, which says thanks a bunch. To stamp these out I used my new ink pads from Hunky Dory. One is the Spearmint for the turquoise color and the pink petal for the pink. I have to say these are stunning. I really enjoy using these ink pads, and I will have some more videos coming up where I'm using them more for all different techniques. So I will be just more or less following the design that I have in here, using my hot glue, my quick grab glue, and then I will put this all on high speed, and then I will be back walking you through some other couple of things that I have added to this card. another thing that I did, okay, so just one last thing that I did on the front of this card was added these gorgeous little pearls in like a tealy turquoise bluish color, and they were from this box from Chloe's Creative Cards, and this came with the latest collection, which I believe is the Lacy Leaf collection. But there's no pink ones in it, and I do have pink ones, but they are blingy, so I had to dive deep inside my stash, and I find these little bags, which I believe came from eBay, Amazon, I'm not sure, a long time ago. So I picked out a few from these in pink color, and I will be using and adding these just in the same kind of a pattern as I did in there. Okay, so for the insert, for the inside of the card, I used these exact same inks that I used for the sentiment, and I used the stamp from the box kit, and it is this gorgeous daisy one from the top, and I stamped it twice in two corners of it, and this measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I will be gluing this onto the inside of the card, and this is where I will be writing my message. So this is it, our cards finished. Look at all that lovely sparkle. I really hope that the camera picks up on all that gorgeous glitter in there. There's just so much going on, yet it's nice simple card, but really luxurious. Like, it shows that you put lots of time and effort into making this such a gorgeous card. So I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will just show you the boxes that I made for this. I kept it nice and simple, just used white cardstock to create the card base and the lid for the box, and I just added using the embossing folder that came in the kit, this gorgeous daisy design on the top. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please give me the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet done so. I have some more lovely tutorials coming up very soon, and until the next time, bye!